Okay, so tell me about yourself.
Okay, I'm Sohan Pujari. I have co-founded a company called Hoyasan Labs. The word Hoyasan is basically derived from two names. One is from the Hoysala Empire and the current city where the or the district where the Hoysala Empire was situated, that is Hassan. So this is where I was born and brought up. So because of that, we took
That's
the inspiration.
very interesting.
We took the inspiration of that and creating the company. We are two co-founders right now, directors of the company. We started as three, but right now we are two directors are left. That is me and Sai Kiran. So we are a medtech startup. We are based in Indian Institute of Science. We are incubated here in the CPDM, CPDM TBI. So this is us.
Okay, so could you tell me more about your achievements and educational background?
So I come from city Hassan. As I told you, till my plus 12th I was in Hassan itself. For my engineering, I went to Mangalore, where I studied in Alvas Institute of Engineering and Technology. My parents are from Mangalore actually, but we have settled in Hassan due to my father's work. So my father works in KSRTC and my mother works as a teacher. So basically, I have a brother right now, sibling. Then, other than that, I was like till my PU or 10th, I was into sports a lot. After getting into Alvas, so that was my intent. But after 1 year spending there in college, then I found other things that I was more interested in, and from there I started exploring a lot of different arena where I started exploring myself in terms of developing skills, learning new things. So
Since you told about the sports thing, so which was your favorite sports?
I was actually a football player, so I was playing.
And which is your favorite football player?
Actually, Messi. It's never.
Argentina fan, right?
Yeah.
He plays for Argentina.
Argentina.
Okay.
Recently he won World Cup. It was never like just single player. So there are different match to match. You find new players and new this one. But when it comes to India, we had Baichang Bhutia and Sunil Sethi.
Okay. So let's talk about your journey, which inspired you to achieve this company, your new startup.
To be honest, this is still at a very early stage. We are coming up with a product. So basically, during college days, there was some interest in the deep tech applications, where I would not say that I wanted to do certain things which made me feel happy. It started right in my college days, where we were building vehicles for Formula Bharat. So where you build a F3 vehicle. Then we were building go-karts for competitions. Similarly, then I had an exposure to robotics through e-Yantra competition, and my final project was on hydrogen fuel cell. So during that competition, which was conducted by called KPIT Sparkle, they were majorly into energy and mobility. So there we got to meet a lot of people, right from a normal tier 2, tier 3 colleges to right to IITs also. So there our whole horizon of or the thought actually started to mature a lot. I would say that we had people from Audi, we had green energy department's head from Audi. So not only that, we had previous directors of BARC, that is Baba Atomic Research Center and all. So when you spend time with or when you get exposed to such kind of people, there's always a slight intent or some push or nudge would be there, which actually says that why don't there can be a trial, because still I have no other what you could say bindings that are there for me. And also I had my co-founders who were really passionate about it. Actually, during COVID, we had a lot of time, so we were just brainstorming online what can be done. All crazy ideas were put thrown.
So are you saying that you got the idea in the quarantine period?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's
So,
great.
so it included some experience of doing certain things and failing in it. It can be, as I told you, as working on different teams that actually helped me a lot. Where the approach for any problems or identifying that problem and justifying that I should commercialize it is a really a very important thing I felt. So one of my co-founders, Sai Kiran, like he's from a chemical engineering department. I'm from a mechanical engineering department. Totally different experience, totally
Branches,
different
yeah.
branches. So we had that discussion where what can be done, and from there we actually pitched. We came up with an idea of a device for Alzheimer's patients. So it is supposed to be a non-invasive device. Uh, so what happened was there was a research paper that was published at that time from MIT, and we took that inspiration from there, and we decided that we'll check it out how we can come up and help Indian patients, because I had a relative who had Alzheimer's.
But why just Indian?
Good question. First thing, like we have people, especially I'm an Indian and I see people who are suffering from it. So I told you one of my relative had Alzheimer's. So that itself gives you an exposure. Next is on the part that India is going to be the largest market, whatever reasons. From time immemorial, people have been coming to India. There is a reason why people come to India, because India has that value. So we decided we'll design and build something, and that's when we met.
But
with
it's been said that, or maybe the Denmark's health department is considered as the top healthcare
Yes.
system. Yeah, so why India? I mean,
Okay, that's a good question. Right now, India is evolving. It's at the evolving stage. So you have chance. You have space where you can explore. You can give solution. You can be very wacky on the approach, and people are still going to. They would actually want to accept it. We are an aspiring nation to be on a certain level. Denmark, they see themselves as, we are at a level. This is enough. So we are not yet at that point. So I would say that we need to have that burning in this need for improvement. Next thing on the resources that is there. See, Denmark has a different kind of setup and
Yeah.
different kind of resources that they have. So here we have a unique opportunity where we can work, give the solution, and get the value back as a monetary value, whatever is there. And also, there medtech is a field where you actually have some sort of where you feel good, whatever you are doing when somebody is getting better in their health. And in India, it's not just about the healthcare. India has a huge market for every sector. Okay, and while exploring that, something which trusted me towards medtech is definitely a relative who had, and also while reading about Alzheimer's, I found out that it's a 50% chance that anybody can have it. So in between two of us, one of us can have Alzheimer's in future. So that's a very shocking thing, especially when you consider your parents are getting older, and you feel when you get to know that there's a chance that one of your parents could actually end up forgetting your name in future. So that's a very bad thing for any kid. So that's where we thought, okay, fine. COVID was there. We understood the importance of healthcare. We knew that COVID is not going to be a permanent thing, because though it's not going to affect in such a manner which Alzheimer's, cancer, heart disease is going to. So that's where we intended that we shift our focus towards this, and we met with Dr. Shalini Rajneesh, State Government of Karnataka. She's IS officer, Chief Secretary to CM, and when we just proposed that why we are thinking of seeing how we can contribute. At that time, still we were thinking of solving the problem rather than building a company, to be honest. And at that time period, we actually sent her a proposal, and she was nice enough to give us a time, and where we through Mr. Manjunath, who is part of the secretariat team of the planning commission. So they pushed us where they said, okay, fine, you do something, and they connected us to Indian Institute of Science, Dr. Srinivas, and they said, okay, fine, you prepare. At that point of time, there was not much of evidence on the approach that we were taking. Now there are many teams who are coming up with the research that would back our product or the device. So now we have come up with, we are still in functioning, we are testing it out. Even there's an interesting thing associated with the device. We have a requirement from South Korea, who are
I see.
right at the development phase. So there's a patient in South Korea, the son of a patient who has requested for the device. So we are working on it.
Can you explain more about the device, the scientific?
Okay, so
aspect
we are
of it?
working on how do we, so normally what happens is the neurons, how Alzheimer's happens, the basic conception or the basic understanding that everybody say works on it. The synapses is blocked by the proteins over a time period, and that creates the inactivity of the neurons at longer duration. So it's the problem is right to identify that this is the instant from where the Alzheimer's will start is not yet completely proven. So when at what age it will actually start is not clear. There's a age group where it has been shown that this is the age group at where it will start, but not the proper age group or properly precisely saying that this is what is going to cause the problem. There's a host of problems that leads to Alzheimer's.
So which age group is more prone towards the disease?
So post 60 plus is what we have observed, even the data says. So normally this can be due to sleeplessness, sleep when you do not have proper sleep, when you are stressed for a longer duration of time, or even through infections or genetic disorders. So all these things leads to it, where your brain mass actually shrinks down. So that's when the huge problem, that's when they actually detect it. So what happens is the neuron is blocked, linkages are blocked, and that actually starts to degeneration of the cells. So what we are trying to do is, one is on reversing the damage, or at least to limit the damage that is happening to the light and sound. We are also working on other methods where we can approach the same problem. So that's still it's in the development phase, so I cannot reveal it. So this is one way we are doing it. We are coming up with two set of devices. One is a wearable, the other one would be a sort of a device that you can actually mount it to different places. So and give treatment to the patient. So this is the approach that we are taking, right?
Okay. Also about the other product,
Yes.
the paint you were talking about.
So coming to the paint additive that we have come up with is a product that we licensed from IISc. So it's a IISc product where during COVID time period, as I told you, my co-founder is a chemical engineer. So he was very. We were thinking that can we bring a material which is from nanoparticles, and because we knew that nanoparticles are having some antimicrobial property. So at that time period, we were thinking of how do we bring it to the market. Then we were introduced to a professor called Dr. Surya Sarthi Bose and Kaushik Chatterjee. So both of them were already working on the same problem, and that through Dr. Srinivas, who is incubation head in IISc. So what happened was, while discussing with them, they saw that we were actually interested in taking up the problem. The problem is not just about developing the technology. The problem is on the commercialization of these technologies. How do you bring it to the I can say from beaker to people's hand.
Okay.
So that's a bigger challenge. We for the same, there was another company who was trying to license it. Then they found out it's not a small journey that they have to take. So they had to abandon the whole thing, and then we took up from there. We started working with them. We were giving our insight to the product, and then it was a vice versa. It was never like a monotone of one person is working on it. So that's where the improvement started. So there were at least 3 set of iterations that happened. Now we have whatever the product that we have come up with, you can mix it with any emulsion and you paint it onto the surface, mainly for the interiors, and it will make sure that even COVID virus is killed. So it is antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial.
So are you saying that the paint will kill the virus as well as the fungi as well as
Yes.
the...
So we have proven with third-party testing,
Okay.
and the best part is it's non-toxic. So it's we have done toxicity test also. So that is where the importance comes. We saw that during COVID, there were many products that claimed to be antiviral. They were actually, and like according to their definition, it was antiviral. The problem was they were not biocompatible. See, you do not bring in a product that would actually cause more harm than protecting you. They say that they were protecting us, that at the same time they were causing immeasurable harm. So many of them never showed biocompatibility tests or any sort of things, or at least cytotoxicity tests on their part. So we have come up with it. So there will be these companies they did what they was required for that time period. We are thinking in the long-term duration.
So that's how it's different from the other products.
Yes, not just killing the microbes, but also protecting you from any other further toxins.
Okay.
And we have actually applied it in ISC itself.
Okay.
The incubation centers here, CPD Med, and we are also slowly we are increasing our production capacity. We are working on how we are talking to many architecture firms, and they are also interested in this genuinely.
So how's the sale of the
Sales, because we have just started January last week we started because we are a very small team, so we have to be very careful with the resources that we are using. But right now we are catering to the people in Bangalore, but unintentionally we had orders from Tamil Nadu also, so we are catering to them. We are working on acquiring the license to export to Korea in Southeast Asia. So we are focusing on Asian market rather than any other markets, because Asian markets, it's like they understand what we are working on, they respect us. So there's a competition which would actually be more fruitful in this part of the world, because you have license Raj is still alive in West, so it will take some time for us to go there. But first we'll clear have our base firmly made for ourselves. So this is where we are right now, and also we are working on building the team, so which is very crucial. So right now we have very small team members working very hard. We'll slowly be branching out. We'll bring more people on board, and that should help us. So that's how it is.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Like, I would like to wish you all the best for the sales and.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.